Hello, everybody. This is Secular Sekai with Tridents Against Tyrants, and it is another weekend. And for once, well, okay, a few minutes, but pretty much at the same time, the usual time when I try to have the stream run, we are actually on time today. So I hope that we can get plenty of people from both sides of the world, East and West, Americas and Europe and Africa and Asia, Australia, everybody on board. Because I usually try to do this time so that as many people are awake as possible who want to tune in. All right, now then, thank you for coming. I see Greg Watkins, I see Anna, UTV Ham, Aussie T, The Real Dave Seaman. Right. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. The QA is open, so if anyone has questions, feel free to leave one in there. We had a recent stream with Alec from Protect Ukraine Now. If you haven't seen that, go check out the video later if you get a chance. Great guy. He does a lot of work independently and with several groups in Washington, D.C., actually, none of which I'll name drop on the spot. But really great guy. Go check out his channel. Now, without further ado, let's just start with this. We are currently at 12,132.35 hryvnia for the 110 FPV drones fundraiser. And yeah, here later on in the stream, I'm going to make a direct donation myself because just I've been so busy. These streams, I need to get them up sooner so more people are seeing it and taking part and come into the stream. But yeah, I'll be making a direct donation if you're inclined to do so at any time during the stream. Then, as always, the option for buy me coffee is in the lower left, option for donation to soldiers via PayPal is in the upper right, and in the upper left, if you want to support this channel, then there's the option for donation or membership directly to the Tridents Against Tyrants channel. Without further ado, a second time, let's move on and jump right into the first news. All right, as always, I'm going to put the article into the chat. Our first piece of news is curated by the wonderful CF Beauty, who assisted a lot with the research for these articles, from Reuters.com. Biden tiptoes deeper into Ukraine conflict with arms decision. All right. Washington, Kiev, May 31st, Reuters. President Joe Biden's decision to relax some restrictions. Hold on, I'm going to turn off the membership message just because it takes up too much of the screen. And I need to adjust that. President Joe Biden's decision to relax some restrictions on Ukraine's use of U.S. weaponry inside Russia is a small but significant step deeper into the 2-year-old war that experts say could help blunt Russia's cross-border Kharkiv offensive. Now, obviously, title of this video, this ties directly into it. Ukraine. I want to make a quick statement, a reminder to everyone. Ukraine has already, long before this official, green light from Western allies, been striking inside of Russian territory. Many, many, many times has Ukraine struck oil and ammo, oil depots and ammunition depots inside of Russia itself, inside of Muscovia. The only thing this really is, more political, not justification, but support from allies abroad to do this, and they aren't just going to pretend and look the other way. They'll openly acknowledge, oh yeah, Ukraine is doing that, and we support it, and they can do it with the weapons we provide. So, a good step in the right direction. Since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, Biden's administration had argued it was too risky to allow Ukraine to strike targets on Russian territory with U.S. supplied weapons. It feared a major Ukrainian attack could trigger direct conflict with nuclear armed Russia. It was a rule that fit neatly with other U.S. prohibitions on supplying higher end weaponry to Kiev that have also since crumbled. Oh, hold on. There we go. From advanced U.S. fighter jets to long-range ATACMS missiles. Biden administration officials say the latest decision, which went into effect on Thursday, was narrowly tailored to the battle in the Kharkiv region. U.S. officials say it allows Kiev to use U.S.-supplied weapons to fire back against Russian forces, attacking them or preparing to attack them from across the border. That gives Ukrainians on the front lines a green light to fire over the border at Russian forces using U.S.-supplied high-mobility artillery rocket systems, also known as HIMARS launchers, armed with guided multiple launch rocket system GMLRS missiles, and other weaponry, experts say. This can stabilize the front line and possibly create conditions to push back Russians from Kharkiv region before they have dug in, said Mykola Bielyeskov, research fellow at the Ukrainian National Institute for Strategic. I do agree with that, but also when it comes to Russian tactics, they may adjust a few things. They may attack from this side instead of that. They may try to revamp their strategy in the region, but I imagine, just like the rest of this war, the heart of their tactics will still just be attrition, meaning send wave after wave of men, and some of them well-equipped, many of them not so well-equipped. Slow churn decision. Biden's decision-making process dates back weeks. Ukraine raised its request to use U.S. weapons across the border in Kharkiv region during a secure video conference on May 13th, so just last month, with White House National Security Director Jake Sullivan, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General C.Q. Brown, a U.S. official said, speaking on condition of anonymity. Sullivan, Austin, and Brown developed a recommendation in favor of relaxing the restrictions, which Sullivan took to Biden on May 15th. Biden agreed Ukraine should be able to strike back against Russian forces, attacking them from the safety of Russian soil, the official said. Biden's administration had been finalizing the decision since then. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky publicly called for Ukraine's partners to take such a step in a May 20th interview with Reuters, but at the same time said, so far, there is nothing positive. Rob Lee, a senior fellow at the Foreign Policy Research Institute's Eurasia program, said Russia had been exploiting Biden's prohibition on strikes inside Russian territory by using it as a safe haven to launch attacks in Kharkiv region. Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, is just 19 miles, 30 kilometers from the border. Russia could keep its artillery right across the border. It could keep air defense, electronic warfare, command and control there, Lee said. It had maybe a degree of kind of sanctuary. Still, Lee and other experts, I'm pretty sure that should say agreed, this decision on its own may not alter the front lines anytime soon. I don't think the decision is going to change the movement of the front line that much, if at all, but it will make it more difficult for Russia to continue this kind of cross-border operation, Lee said. Ingram said Russia lacks enough troops for a major push into Kharkiv. And that is important to note, everybody. Remember, even with their overwhelming numbers in terms of having more troops on the ground, Russia is not able to successfully take all of Ukraine. They aren't successfully able to take the Kharkiv region, even. And the reality is that they're underperforming. They continue to slowly inch and take more, little by little. The Russian approach is basically trying to do death by 1,000 cuts, except their cuts, it's like actually trying to do it with a piece of paper. Sometimes there actually is a cut, and sometimes it's a pretty embarrassing failure where the paper just rolls off and is just a harmless piece of paper. So not to say that it isn't still horrible, not to say that it isn't still bad when the cuts go through, But yeah, as we've seen throughout this whole war, despite their progress, uh, it's been almost, it's absolutely been embarrassingly inept and incompetent, the performance on the Russian side, in more than one occasion. Although they have adapted over 2 years of conflict, as have Ukrainians. The Russians don't have the ability to generate to generate sufficient combat capability to properly threaten Kharkiv from the northeast, he said. To do that, it would denude their troops in eastern combat areas, which then, of course, could open those areas for Ukrainian counteroffensives to take back and liberate more territory. So, will there be deeper strikes in Russia? Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned NATO members against allowing Ukraine to fire their weapons into Russia, and on Tuesday once again raised the risk of nuclear war. Still, Ukraine appears ready to seek to expand its ability to use U.S. weaponry elsewhere in Russia in the weeks and months to come, particularly after a difficult year in which Russia seized the momentum on the battlefield. On Friday, less than a day after Washington announced its policy shift, Zelensky was quoted in an interview with the Guardian newspaper calling for U.S. approval to hit targets deep inside Russian territory. Mark Canadian, a former Pentagon official now at the Center for Strategic and International Studies think tank in Washington, said Biden's move was just a first step. It's not a radical departure in policy, but it's a step. Kansian. Why did I say? Did I say? I said that name completely wrong. Kansian said. Ukrainians and officials in the administration will argue for the next step to strike a broader set of targets, maybe targets in Russia that are not directly threatening Kharkiv but are in other areas. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're almost at the end of the article. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, speaking on Friday in Prague, declined to say whether the Biden administration could expand its policy to allow strikes elsewhere in Russia, but he did not rule it out. Going forward, we'll continue to do what we've been doing, which is as necessary, adapt and adjust, Blinken said. All right. So, good first piece of news. Definitely something that several channels and news outlets have been talking about. This is very important. I hope that we see even more restrictions lifted because there shouldn't be any. Ukraine is fighting this war currently, in terms of manpower, with the exception of individual volunteers who are coming, choosing to be there, and then being vetted as capable on the battlefield. Ukraine is fighting this alone. And doing it with your hands tied behind your back against someone who's basically threatening you with a steamroller, just a very poorly maintained one that keeps turning off and keeps starting and stopping and basically isn't working the way that they want it to. Trying to do that with your hands tied behind your back is very difficult. In that situation, you want to have no restrictions. You want to have your hands free. You want to be able to, climb up that giant steamroller, punch the guy in the face who is operating it, throw him out of it, and then, steamroll over him. So let's continue to support Ukraine, and please call your government officials or write them a letter. If they have an office down the street in whatever city you live in, or a major city nearby, you can go in person even if you want to, if you have the time. Let them know what you think. Let them know that this is important and that Ukraine needs to have the blessings of the West to do whatever it needs to win this war. All right. Now on to the next article. This one is, and let me also put this into the description. All right, now on to the next article. This one is from AP News. All right, here we go. NATO ministers meet in Prague as allies ease restrictions on Ukraine's use of their weapons. Prague, by AP. NATO foreign ministers were meeting in the Czech capital Friday to prepare for this summer's leaders' summit as the alliance boosts support for Ukraine and countries one by one remove restrictions on how Kyiv can use Western-supplied weaponry to combat Russia's invasion. A day after U.S. President Joe Biden gave Ukraine the go-ahead to use American munitions to strike inside Russia for the limited purpose of defending Kharkiv, numerous ministers, including those from the Netherlands, Finland, Poland, and Germany, expressed approval of the decision, saying that Ukraine has the absolute right to defend itself from attacks originating on Russian soil. The chorus of allied voices backing greater leeway for Ukraine to use their weapons grew louder in recent weeks after Russia launched artillery strikes on Kharkiv from its territory, prompting appeals for help from Kyiv. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken had hinted strongly this week that a change in Washington's position was coming. This is a matter of upholding international law. Ukraine's right to self-defense, NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg said. Russia has attacked Ukraine, which has the right to defend themselves, and that includes also attacking military legitimate targets inside Russia. If you look at the battlefield now, Russia is launching attacks on Ukraine soil from Russian soil with artillery, missiles, and massing troops, he said. And of course, it makes it very hard for Ukraine to defend themselves if they are not allowed to use advanced weapons to repel those attacks. Ukrainian officials had stepped up calls on the U.S. administration to allow their forces to defend themselves against attacks originating from Russian territory. Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, is just 20 kilometers or 12 miles from the Russian border. Ukrainian officials, most notably President Volodymyr Zelensky, have been increasingly vocal in arguing that the restriction was putting Ukrainian forces in an untenable situation as Russia intensified attacks around Kharkiv. And the rest of this we're pretty aware of. We've heard this. Russia has been exploiting a lengthy delay in replenishment of U.S. military aid and Western Europe's inadequate military production that has slowed crucial deliveries to the battlefield for Ukraine. The alliance is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year, and leaders will be meeting in Washington in July to reaffirm their support. Stoltenberg said he expects to be able to announce at the summit that at least 2/3 of members are meeting their commitment to spend 2% of their gross domestic product on defense. Well, then that's good. That is good to hear. Here's the thing. Remember that 2% is the minimum, and it's the recommended minimum. I want to say that among all the nations of Europe, anyone who's only doing 2%, you're not doing enough. I know that that's a big ask because Europe has a different economy and a different military economy across all of the different NATO and EU countries than, say, the United States, for example. But that figure needs to be closer to 3.5%, in my opinion, to realistically deter Russia. Now then, if not more. Now then, let's see here. All right, before we move on to the next piece of news, let me check if we have any questions yet. We do not, so yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat or in the questions section. Let me check chat real fast. Hey, you got a police background? Hey, Mr. Nobody. I just got my police background check approved, and now I can volunteer at a Canadian Ukrainian center. Hey, congratulations. So that is awesome. I love to see that. I love to let people know about stuff like that when I hear about it. So I'm pinning it in chat real fast, just to highlight it for a sec. And congrats, Mr. Nobody. Really proud of you, man. All right. Let's see. A friend of mine had a Ukrainian cook working in the restaurant he said he left at the start to go back to Ukraine. I hope he's okay. Yeah, I hope he is too, Greg. Absolutely. This war has been horrible. The ripple effect it's had on so many people, it's catastrophic. Oh, Greg, if you'd like to know the names of the companies that have not left Russia, check out that link that Anna dropped You can find a huge list of them there. All right. Well then, let's continue onward to the next article, going into international politics a bit. All right, and that's in chat and description now. So, everybody, you all know how big a fan I am of this guy because it seems to me like I never stop talking about him. Hungary's Orbán pushes back on EU and NATO proposals to further assist Ukraine. And of course, it should be obvious that was sarcasm, but I'm still going to say it out loud for those who for those who don't interpret sarcasm well. So Viktor Orbán, Budapest, Hungary, AP. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán on Friday pushed back against some NATO proposals that would allow Ukraine to use Western weapons to strike targets within Russia, saying that such plans have Europe, quote, inching closer to destruction. So let me just highlight this opening paragraph right here, everybody. He's opposing NATO allowing Ukraine to use their Western weapons to strike legitimate targets, military targets inside of Russia. And he says that his fear is that it will bring Europe closer to destruction. He's basically saying, why are you fighting back? Why are you resisting the Russians? They're going to destroy us all. I would say he's a coward, but I think we all know it's more than that. The man's not just a coward, he is a traitor. He is a traitor to Europe just as much as Donald Trump is a traitor to the Americas, specifically to the United States. So, yeah. Just want to emphasize that. Let's move on. The nationalist leader has long opposed Western countries supplying Ukraine with military aid and threatened to derail European Union financial support to Kiev and the passing of sanctions against Moscow. He's also maintained close ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin, despite his full-scale invasion of Ukraine, while ramping up energy deals with Moscow at a time when most EU countries have sought to limit the use of Russian fossil fuel. During a Friday interview on state radio, Orbán said that French President Emmanuel Macron, Macron's stance that he wouldn't rule out sending troops to Ukraine, as well as a NATO proposal that would allow Kiev to strike military bases inside Russia with sophisticated long-range weapons provided by Western partners, risked escalating the war in Ukraine into a global conflict. Quote, war is a monster that is constantly hungry. It must be fed, and it must be fed with money. And I see that the Americans and the democratic government of the United States and the leaders of the European Union are ready to feed it, he said. I just want to say, I find it incredibly ironic that for many people, especially maybe those who are millennials and boomers, those generations kind of were always raised with this idea of the left is, you know, the hippie movement, the group that doesn't want war, that will do anything to avoid conflict. And now, with this new generation, we're seeing the conservative side, those who are considered more on the Western political spectrum of the right, to be the ones saying, no, we don't need war, we need to stop war, this is ridiculous, the left is going to take us into our own destruction. It's very interesting. It's a little mind-boggling when you see how different stances like that you grow up with, hearing as stereotypically being associated with one side, suddenly can flip. The flip-flop is very real. It changes with the times. Orbán is campaigning for the European Parliament election, which will be held in Hungary on June 9th. He has cast the election as an existential struggle between war and peace, and focused his campaign on fears that Western support for Ukraine could cause an escalation of Russia's war. He has portrayed his party as unique in calling for an immediate end to the fighting in Ukraine, but critics say his proposals amount to capitulation to Moscow, which would allow Russia to retain territories it has occupied in Ukraine and embolden it further. The question of whether to allow Ukraine to hit targets on Russian soil with Western-supplied weaponry has been a delicate issue since Moscow launched its full-scale invasion on February 24th, 2022. Oh, wow, we just got a pretty major donation, and we jumped up to 38,480.35 hryvnia. We were at about 12,000. So, wow, thank you very much. I don't know if that was one person or multiple people, but it seems like it was probably over PayPal because I didn't see any Buy Me a Coffee or Monobank or PayPal, one or the other. But thank you very much. So, wow, that's 26,000. So hold on, let me see. About 640 US dollars. So I don't know for certain. That could have been more than one person, but if that was one person, whoever you are, thank you very much. And that puts us at, we've got that blue back in the bar, beautiful blue back in the bar now, 2% close so far to our goal of 1,785,000 hryvnia. And that'll help us get the remaining drones out to the soldiers of the 110th Mechanized Brigade and or any of their comrades, their fellow soldiers serving in units of their choice. So thank you very much. All right. Actually, that is a pretty significant amount, so I feel like I should have something I can do other than just say thank you. So hold on a sec. You know what? I'll do this. This is what I'll do. Oh, there's no way to... Yep, there's no way to isolate that. Okay, we'll make it... All right, we'll just use this one because I don't want to spend too much time setting this up. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. It is immensely appreciated. That was the first thank you image that came up, but I do greatly appreciate it. And also, this bear tips his hat to you. All right, now then, let's move on. Actually, this is probably a perfect time before we continue on with the news. I'm going to do one thing right quick. There's two things that I'm doing today. Because I have been a combination of both incredibly busy and pretty incredibly broke the last couple of weeks because of various bills, business expenses, and personal life things that have been going on. But I am making a $50 donation right now via PayPal. So I'm going to do that toward our fundraiser. And toward the end of the stream, I'm going to make another donation to another cause. And that's going to be a surprise. So stick around to the end of the stream if you want to find out about that. And everyone... Oh, thank you very much. Holy Oblation just bought 20 Tridents on... so that's the blue notification on Buy Me a Coffee. And as a reminder, yellow Buy Me a Coffee, the coffees are $5 each, and those go toward helping soldiers. Blue Buy Me a Coffee is support of the channel. Those are only $1 each, and those are just to support this channel so it can grow and we can keep doing what we're doing. Thank you very, very much. And if anyone ever accidentally donates to the blue, but they meant to do it to the yellow, they can just tell me in the chat and I'll fix it for you. But that's why I've got the two different colors. Just remember, yellow is for soldiers, blue is for the channel. All right, let's keep going. PayPal. And sent. All right, there we go. So, thank you, everybody. And again, whether it's 5, 10, 20, 50, whatever it might be, over PayPal, over the yellow Buy Me a Coffee, if it works for you in your country, over Monobank, no donation is too small or too big. So yeah, every donation counts. And thank you to everybody who supports Ukraine, the Ukrainian armed forces, and fighting against authoritarianism, whether it's far left or far right. In the case of Russia, very far right. And we will stand with Ukraine until victory. Thank you again, and let's move on to the next news. And also, let me get my chat visible again. There we go. Oh, is that Adrian? Oh, okay. I see chat again now. And I think that large donation might have been from Adrian. So if that's the case, thank you very, very much. And again, very appreciated. All right. Let's move on to next news. From the Kiev Independent, which I'm putting into chat and description now. Cheryl Watley says, it's funny to me that my leftist friends still think Russia is communist. Yes. Yes. No, you have no idea. There are so many people very poor. Let me just say this. It's a global phenomenon. It's not just unique to Canadians or Americans. But the number of people I talk to who still think that Russia is communist and also know absolutely nothing at all about the wars in Israel, Palestine, or Myanmar, especially Israel, Palestine, the amount of misinformation and just lack of information that people have, it's kind of staggering. All right. Now then. Russia launches large-scale missile attack on Ukraine, damaging energy infrastructure. Oh, energy infrastructure. Apologies. Support independent journalism in Ukraine. Join us in this. Oh, yes. If you want to support the Kiev Independent, go check out their website. Russia launched a large-scale drone and missile attack on Ukraine overnight on June 1st, damaging energy infrastructure in various regions across the country. At least 20 people, including children, were injured in the attacks. In Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, at least 4 people were injured in the strikes, including a 7-year-old girl. Following a strike on the city of Nikopol, Governor Serhiy Lysak reported. The attack damaged a house as well as 2 other buildings and a transport bus. In Lviv Oblast, Russian forces hit energy infrastructure facilities, including 4 people, the state emergency service said. During the attack, regional governor Maxim Kozitsky reported Russian missiles heading toward the town of Stry. 6 cruise missiles hit 3 critical infrastructure facilities in Lviv Oblast. Kozitsky said later in the morning. In Kharkiv Oblast, a Russian missile attack aimed at the town of Balaklia in the Izium district, hitting 2 houses where 12 people were present at the time, said Governor Ole Siniahubov. 12 people were injured following the attack, and 1 woman suffered from shock, Olena Shapoval. The spokesperson of the Kharkiv Oblast Military Administration told the Kiev Independent. The victims included 8 children aged 2 to 17, all of whom were hospitalized, regional officials said. They were injured on the day that Ukraine, Russia, and other countries celebrate World Children's Day. I really don't have much of a response to that because it's pretty sickening to read. Siniahubov originally said that one of the injured victims was a pregnant woman, but Vitaly Karabanov, the head of the town's military administration, later clarified in a comment for Suspilne that her pregnancy was not confirmed. So, here we go. Oh, hold on, let me make sure this is still the same article. Yes, it is. Let's keep reading. At around 4 a.m. local time, the debris from a downed Russian Shahed-type drone type drone caused a fire to break out at a critical infrastructure facility in Vinnytsia Oblast, Governor Serhiy Borzov reported. Ukraine's energy minister, Erman Halushenko, confirmed that energy infrastructure in Zaporizhia, Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, Kirovohrad, and Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast came under fire by Russian forces. Restoration and emergency workers are currently on scene and are determining the extent of the damage. So all of this really can just, especially attacks that hospitalize or end up resulting in the deaths of children on World Children's Day, it just highlights, more of what we cannot allow ourselves to become numb to. The fact that Russia is a terrorist nation. This is an attack on a sovereign country in order to invade and formally annex. I want to especially emphasize that part. A lot of people give many countries around the world, major powers or countries that claim to be or aspire to be superpowers, a lot of flack for things that happen when it comes to their involvement around the world or military conflicts they get involved in. But, there's a big difference between, conflicts that have to do with supporting an allied government or having a presence in a region without formal annexation and what Russia is doing. What Russia is doing is horrific and resulting in an attempt to break the current world order and put itself at the top or near the top as an imperialist regime that can bring back the brutal military practices of the old world, of the old order, which is very simple. Might makes right. And you know what? In my eyes, Russia is weak. Very weak. And we have to stand united in order to prove that. In Zaporizhia, multiple explosions were heard around 3 a.m. local time. Zaporizhia Oblast Governor Ivan Fedorov reported on Telegram. But Fedorov later said that a combined 20 residential buildings and social institutions were damaged as a result of the attacks. No casualties were reported. Oh, and I see that we went up again. We're at 40,506. Oh, that might be the money that I just sent, the 50, because I don't see Anton in chat, but he may be present and he may be transferring PayPal donations. So actually, I don't know if that was mine. Hold on. So it went up to 40,000 and it was at, what was it at? 30. It went from 12 to, oh shoot. Hold on. What just happened? Oh, that was weird. Sorry. Screen flashed for a moment. In any case, we went from like 12 to 30. Let me just do this. 50. Yeah, about 2,000. So that might have been my 50. But if it wasn't, if that was someone else's donation, thank you very much for donating. Oh, someone was hearing chat? Who? Oh, Anton was hearing chat? Oh, okay. Very good, very good. All right. Now then. No casualties were reported. An energy infrastructure facility was also hit in Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast, resulting in a fire. No casualties were reported. Governor Svitlana Onyshchuk said, DTEK, Ukraine's largest private energy company, said that 2 of its thermal power plants were targeted in the attack, resulting in serious damage to the equipment. 2 hydroelectric power stations and nearby infrastructure were also hit, inflicting critical damage, said Ukrenergo, the state-owned hydroelectric energy operator. Neither Ukrenergo, wait, that is not spelled the same. I don't know which one is correct. It's either Ukrenergo or Ukrenergo. Either way, neither that company nor DTEK disclosed the location of the targeted power plants. Ukraine's Air Force announced an air alert throughout the country, including the far western oblast, citing the threat of Russian cruise and ballistic missiles, drones, and Tu-95 MS bombers. Missiles were reported flying over Zakarpattia Oblast, which borders Ukraine's western neighbors, including Poland, Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia. Air alerts warned that the city of Muscovia, located just 26 kilometers northeast of the Hungary-Ukraine border, was under threat of missile attacks. Russia reportedly launched 47 Shahed-type kamikaze drones and 53 types of various missiles of various types, including 35 Kh-101-555 cruise missiles, 4 Iskander-M ballistic missiles, 1 Iskander-K cruise missile, and 10 Caliber cruise missiles, and 3 Kh-59-69 aerial missiles. Ukrainian air defenses downed Kh-101-555 missiles, 4 Caliber missiles, 1 Iskander-K missile, and 46 drones, the Air Force said. Polish and other Allied aircraft were scrambled in response to reports of the Russian missile attack against Ukraine, the operational command of Poland's armed forces said on X. Air raid alerts were turned off at 5:30 a.m. local time, and operations by Polish and Allied aircraft concluded around 6:30 a.m. In recent months, Russia has intensified its attacks against Ukraine's critical infrastructure in a renewed assault against the country's energy grid. I want to remind people that this is for several reasons. In the past, it was pure terrorism in order to weaken resolve and morale when there weren't as many air defense systems in Ukraine, to try to force the population into a position of fear and demanding the government to end this war and capitulate. Now, or I guess maybe the entire time they've been doing this, a big part of it is just to harm the Ukrainian economy and to make it impossible for Ukraine to create enough of a sustainable business model for setting up their own domestic defense industry, basically making it much more difficult for Ukraine to stand on its own 2 feet without the need of Western supplies, weapons being delivered in the long term. So, yeah, again, just to underscore why air defense is so important for Ukraine, for both the country and, of course, civilians, to protect lives, as well as the overall prosperity of the country. Russia's massive aerial assault follows the deadly bombing of the busy Kharkiv hypermarket in the middle of the day on May 25th. The attack killed at least 19 people and injured 44. Hours later, a second Russian attack injured 25 people. So yeah, let's keep calling your representatives, everybody. We're 2 years in, and this war is not going to be over soon. Many wars like this are not over quickly. Don't know how much longer this war will continue, but we got to stay buckled in. I want everyone to assume we're not even halfway through yet. Or, yeah, I want everyone to assume that. So keep on it. Because if you're here to support Ukraine, I want you to know it's going to be a commitment of a few years. And I'm here for it. And I know many of you are as well. All right. Now then, we're at about 45 minutes in. And we are going to keep today's stream at about an hour. So before we continue onward, what we're going to do right now is, let me go ahead and, before we continue with any more articles or news, let me go back to this screen. All right, we're going to go ahead and do something new. Now, we got a couple of people here. We got about 27 or so, around 30-ish viewers on the stream right now. Now, I know a lot of you watch and support many different channels that have many different fundraisers in support of Ukraine. I definitely do. I'm subscribed to a lot, probably more than I can count, if I'm being honest. What I would like to do right now is set up a quick poll. And I'm going to set a timer. In fact, let me do that right now. In fact, maybe I can just do it with the same info cap I was using. Let's see. What this timer is going to be for is, we're going to give it 4 minutes because that's one of my favorite numbers. Go full screen. Oh, will that not work? Probably not, no. Okay, in that case. Here we go, this will work. Almost ready. Let's turn the volume off. All right, so I'm going to set a 4-minute timer. And what this timer is for is everyone who's here in chat, give me, actually, yeah, we'll make it 4. Give me some suggestions because I'm going to put together a poll with some of your suggestions. If you know of another channel, if you know of a particular unit in the Ukrainian Armed Forces, if you know of a civilian humanitarian initiative that is helping people, even if it's not combat related, that's doing really good work, I want you to give me suggestions, and we're going to put together a poll and have a vote to see which one. I'm going to give another $50, and whichever channel or initiative, fundraiser, whatever it might be, wins in the poll, that is the one I will donate $50 to, and invite others who wish to join me to do the same. So I'm starting the timer now. Feel free to put your suggestions into the chat. I know there are a lot. That's why I'm giving 4 minutes, and just put it could be donate to one of Rick's fundraisers. It could be donate to the Shills. It could be donate to Kind House Ukraine Bakery or another nonprofit or a particular unit if you know their monobank or something. Oh wait, no, it can't be monobank because I am unable to donate directly to monobank. But yeah, give me your suggestions, everybody. All right, let's see. What are a couple? Yep, I see Rick the Ukrainian, Ukraine Matters, the Shills. These are good. These are all good. If if the Shills wins, then I could do that later during the stream because I'm actually going to be on with the Shills later today in a couple hours. Ukraine Relief Fund, food and medical supplies all over Ukraine. Okay. Let's see. I think those are the suggestions so far. Project Constantine, Greg Terry, Experience, United 24. Yep, those are all good. I've given on one occasion or another to each and every one of those. Ukrainian Relief Fund, Harley EOD, Frankie and Cohen. Yep. Okay, I actually don't know how many options the poll will give me. So to keep it fair, we'll see how many options it gives me. If I'm very limited in the number of options I'm allowed to put into the poll, then I guess it'll just be the first few suggestions that have come through, maybe one per person, in the comments, and then go from there. But we got 2 minutes left, so give me more suggestions. If I see a really good one or one that I haven't heard of before, then I actually have heard of pretty much all of these. If I see one that I am not familiar with, then I'll go, do my homework on them real fast. The flashback, they're good. Yep, the flashback is great. Nafo, yep. Sugomimus. Wait, does he have a fundraiser going? I haven't caught up on his stuff in a little while. Let me go see. I'll keep the timer running while I go research that. I like how Suchomimus, his YouTube name is just randomly the name of a dinosaur. Okay, let's see. Does he have a fundraiser? Well, I guess a lot of people also have Patreons and Buy Me a Coffees and stuff like that. He's got a Patreon. And he's based in Taiwan? I actually didn't know that. That's kind of cool. I have to share that with my Taiwanese friend. I'm sure several of you probably remember Kingbun, who was here on one of the streams. All right, we got 20 seconds left. Let me take a look at chat. Winged Hussars, Hostomel Animal Shelter. That's a good one. Hostomel, Jake Bros Fundraiser. Jake Bros Fundraiser was amazing. Stetanenko's drones, Terra Ops drones. Those are really good. Yep, those are very good. Forcex Canada or Big Mac's battle blog for drones. Okay. Yeah, Forcex Canada, I only read. Oh, okay. And 0. Beep, 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 beep. I'm gonna do the noise sound effects so that it doesn't come through and blow your guys' ears out. All right. Perfect. So let me close that. Oh. All right, and now I'm going to put the poll together. So we got a lot of different suggestions. Liberty Ukraine found it. I have heard of them, but I don't know a lot about them. Okay. Oh, Sukumimus is always raising funds. Okay, good to know. So they must be in his video descriptions then. I haven't checked out his videos in a sec, only because, like I said, I'm subscribed to so many pro-Ukraine channels. It just, eventually, once you hit more than 100 channels, it becomes impossible to keep up with what everyone is doing, which is actually very good, which is fantastic, because that's exactly what we need from the grassroots community. Okay, let's see here. Why Ukraine? Yep, James does fantastic work. Love what he does. Yep. Money for Anna. Okay, so since I've given on multiple occasions to Rick's fundraisers and have appeared on the channel a lot, I'm going to, only because I've donated to his many times in the past and I support Rick wholeheartedly, for this time I want it to go to a channel or to a cause that hasn't been supported before. So next time we can include Rick in the list. This time I'm going to just have it be fresh or newer stuff, because I feel like if I put Rick on the list, enough people here are going to just immediately vote for Rick, and Rick is going to immediately win, which I think is an assumption that's easy to make. So let me go through and let me put this together now. Oh, wait. Will it let me see this while I'm making the poll? Yeah, it does. Okay. So first one I'm going to do is excavations for Kharkiv. All right. Let's start this and see how many options it lets us do. All right. First one that came through was from... Jeez, where'd it go? Okay. Ukraine matters. The shills. Okay. Let's start with the shills as the first one. Then what else have we got? Ukraine Relief Fund, smaller one, which I like to support smaller funds, help groups grow and do good work. Food and medical supplies all over Ukraine, so that one is humanitarian. Project Constantine, Greg Terry, United 24. United 24 is huge. They get a lot of donations. They're always in my video descriptions. So Project Constantine, Greg Terry. I haven't given to Greg in a while, so I'm going to put Greg as an option for his fundraisers. Let's see how many it lets me add before it cuts me off. Oh, only 4? Okay, shoot. And so we only have one more. Only one more we can add. Okay, let's see. I'm going to look through and see what's a really good one that I want to put in here then. For the last one, we're gonna make it something that is contributing toward drones or other equipment for soldiers. So, hold on. Donations. You know what? We're going to show Canada some love for the very last choice, because they are assisting with drones and with military assistance. So we'll make the last one Vorsex Canada. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and run this. And to anyone who has a suggestion that wasn't able to make it onto the poll, I'm going to save those into a file, TXT file, or Word doc or something, and I'm going to save those for next time. Okay. All right. So I'm starting the poll now. Oh, ask question: which should we donate to? $50 to today. All right, and starting the poll. Oh, is Greg here? Oh, wait, sorry, Greg Watkins. I was thinking Greg Terry. Yeah, so many underfunded. War is this is a damned expensive war, everybody. Remember, this is not just a most wars are multi-thousand or multi-million wars in terms of US dollars these days. This is a multi-billion-dollar war. This is a war of two industrialized countries. They aren't among the top 10 performing economies in the world, but they are two modern industrialized countries. Yeah, it's an expensive war. I'm not sure which ones are still open, which have closed. I'm not sure what that's referring to, that question. The group repairing roads. Oh, I remember at least one group that was doing that, but I can't recall the name right now. Let's see. Okay, so far Greg Terry is at the top, and we're gonna leave the poll open for. We got 21 votes so far out of 31 people present. If you know people who if you support one of these or another, let people know to come and vote. Go ahead. I'll give it a couple of minutes if you guys want to go out and be like, hey, I know you don't watch this channel, but you support Greg or Ukraine Relief Fund or Shills or 46 Canada, and invite them to come vote. Feel free. I'll leave it up for what's a good amount of time. I'll leave it up for we're an hour in. I'll leave it up for 8 minutes. I'll set. You know what? I'm gonna put the timer back onto the. Oh shoot! Did I close the timer? I did close the timer. Damn it. Let me reopen the timer. I'm gonna leave this up for 8 minutes so people have time to kind of do an emergency. Hey, come vote if you know someone who you want to come vote for one group or another. And then we're gonna move on to another piece of news, and we'll see who wins. So let me set this up. Oh wait. Ah, dang it. I wish I had a built-in timer, because I can't really go over an article, and I'm not going to just sit here for 8 minutes. Okay, well, I don't have a way to put it up on screen. Sorry, everybody. I'll fix that for next time. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. What am I saying? Let me fix this. Let me set this up right now. And we'll have both a timer and also we'll have a timer, and we'll also have the news. So let's take this window, let's make it smaller, put it in the corner. Maybe I can even make it full screen. Yep. And now we'll open up the news again. And let's start this timer. 8 minutes, starting now. So feel free to vote, vote, vote. All right, now let's open up the news again. Oh, that covers it up. Well, let me move it up above where it won't be covered. But it is in the way a little bit, so let's put it right there. And turn that off for now. Yeah, that'll work for now. All right, let's go on with the news. Next piece of news I've got is here's something, as many of you probably know, I have a good friend who lives in Republic of Georgia. So let's take a look right quick at some things that are happening in their country, shall we? Being covered by the Kyiv Independent in Ukraine. You know, for some reason I feel like Greg Terry is going to win. Although the other options do have support, I do see the other options have people who support them quite a bit. All right, now then, putting the article into chat and description as usual. I probably should have assumed that putting Greg on there would mean that his would win, because Greg is just one of the most charismatic, likable people out there, not just reporting, but actively assisting on the ground in Ukraine. All of these groups do great work. I love the Shills, Ukraine Relief Funds, Force X Canada, all of them. But if you want to put a face that people know, they hear, they trust, and who's very personable, out there, then Greg's pretty high up there. He's a great guy. Now then. All right. Georgia's opposition party says masked men attacked its Tbilisi office. A Tbilisi office of United National Movement, UNM, a Georgian opposition party, was attacked by up to 100 masked men overnight on June 1st, the party said in a statement. UNM, founded by imprisoned ex-president Mikhail Saakashvili, is currently the strongest opposition party in the parliament and will seek to challenge the ruling Georgian Dream Party in the October elections. The news comes amid heightened tensions in the country after Georgian Dream passed a controversial foreign agents law reminiscent of a similar legislation used by the Kremlin to crack down on dissent. As a reminder, this foreign agents law is one that, in theory, is meant to apply across the board, but it's pretty well understood that it will tie the hands of any groups with ties to Western foreign organizations and funding, but likely will have little to no effect on those with ties to Russian foreign organizations and funding. Just kind of the reality on the ground. The attack lasted for more than half an hour. Up to 100 attackers took part in it, the party said on social media. The office's facade was damaged, glass was broken, equipment damaged. So, for the past few weeks, thousands of protesters have gathered every night in front of the Georgian parliament, including my friend, in opposition to the controversial foreign agents law that the ruling Georgian Dream Party is attempting to pass. The final vote is set to take place on May 14th. And it cuts off the rest because that's another article. But in any case, that's already passed. Unfortunately, this law was passed. It was vetoed by the president. But the parliament had enough people in the pocket of Georgian Dream that they could override the president's veto. The president being pro-EU, pro-NATO, pro-US. So, what does this mean for the Republic of Georgia and its people? Primarily, it means that Tbilisi is coming closer to becoming another Minsk, Belarus. The country is inching closer to becoming a puppet state of Russia, similar to Belarus. And what happens now is the protesters either find a way to change this, either they organize and they have leadership, which is what we're seeing here, an attempt to cut the head off of leadership that could organize the people against the Georgian Dream Party, or it fizzles. It dies, and the people of Georgia become like the people of Belarus. Those who haven't been imprisoned or forced into exile from Belarus and Russia, they're at the mercy of a puppet government of the Kremlin, which is basically the same thing as being at the mercy of the Kremlin. It is the same thing. So, yeah, keep good thoughts out for my friend. It's very likely things will get more violent. It's very likely things will get more complex, and I'm doing all that I can to help them, but it is a very difficult situation that I anticipate to escalate within the next half decade. Just my prediction. Yeah, I'm on for Georgia. It's very much needed. Free Sakartvelo, everybody. Free Republic of Georgia. From Russian influence, from the Russian boot. And also keep in mind that since the war in Ukraine started, there are many, many Russians, some of whom oppose the war and hate Putin, some of whom just left because of economic reasons, and some of whom actually support Putin and his party and everything that's happening. It's not a monolith. You have a lot of people who dodged the draft and went to Republic of Georgia. So there are many ethnic Russians who are under asylum, de facto under asylum in that country. Oh, did I turn the timer? I had to turn the audio off. Okay. And so, yeah, the bones are there for another Russian invasion, just like 2008. It's just another boot that, another shoe, another boot that we're all waiting to drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, beep, beep. All right, so let's see. Greg Terry experience won the vote. Let's end the poll. Yep, and yeah, the next couple of votes that came in most of them went to Greg Terry, it looks like. Okay. Ukraine Relief Funds was second place, though. Very nice, very nice. All right, so Greg Terry experience. All right, so now I think I can donate directly through Greg's website that he's got set up, but let me see. Greg Terry, through Greg Terry Ministries. Wait. There are two websites. Is this a different Greg Terry? This is a shell website. So yeah, this is the correct one. All right. Donate. So I'm going to make the donation, and then I will either take a screenshot or I'll share the screen to show that the donation has been made. Because I don't want my payment information, obviously, up on the screen. So 1 sec, everybody. And if you also would like to donate and join me in doing so, I'm putting the link into chat now. At Tridents Against... Be sure to mention it's for Ukraine. Oh, the donation? Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. And... I spelled experience wrong. But either way. Typo. But if you also want to donate, there's the link in the chat. All right. Let's see here. There's 2 links. Okay. I see. Oh, very nice. Okay, so one link goes to, I'm guessing this is either his primary or one of Greg's churches that he works with, where they're doing donations. And the other one is over PayPal. So you could use either one. I'm going to do mine over PayPal. Goes to Bethel Life Worship Center. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. Let me specify. Here we go. Ukraine Relief. Let's see. Actually, I think I'm going to do it over. Let's see. There we go. Okay, actually, this works better. I just went ahead and donated through the website link. So let me pull that up. Yeah, there's no personal information here, so I'll go ahead and just pull it up to show you guys. Let me close that timer. Yep, there you go. We're processing your donation and we'll email a receipt. And I don't want to add a mailing address. But yep. All right, so $50 plus the processing fee just donated. And if you wish to join me, check out the link that's in the description. All right, now, where are we at? Let's see. Okay. So we're at about an hour and 16 minutes. You know what? We'll go ahead and close out by getting a little bit. We're not going to watch the whole video. We're only going to watch a little bit. But we'll get a little bit of news from Juzzy right quick. Let me get that pulled up and give you guys the link so you can go check out the video yourselves. Please go support his channel. And then we'll finish up the stream. Oh, but first, let me make sure there are no questions I've missed. One question. Here we go. Here's a question from Appa Talks. Other day, saw a small Ukrainian channel, Think Ukraine, about 6,000 subs. She posted a video, almost appears to show an F-16 flying overhead her village. I half suspect F-16s are already in Ukraine. That is really cool, and I kind of want to go find that video now. Hold on, let me. Oh, hold on, okay. I'm having an ADHD moment, everyone. Let me look up. Let me look up this channel. Because I don't think I am subscribed to Think Ukraine. Oh no, I am subscribed to Think Ukraine. Oh yeah, I know her channel. Yep, yeah. I haven't seen her videos in a sec, but let's see. F-16. Yep, here it is. F-16 in the village. Okay, well that's pretty cool. But her videos tend to be vlogs that are 10 to 30 minutes in length. So I'm not gonna go through the whole thing just to try to find the part that has an F-16 in it. But I will put a link to her channel into the chat. So please be sure to go check her out, everybody. And oh, we got another one. It says, it wasn't me, says, I love Juzzy's videos, but I don't know whether he is supporting Ukraine financially. Do you? I actually do not know, because I don't think I've ever specifically heard Juzzy mention a fundraiser for troops or for Ukraine relief or anything. No, I'll be completely honest, though. The guy does great work. And I've never heard stories of anything negative like with some other channels that are still popular that cover the war in Ukraine, but kind of have a history of controversy or conflict with with the broader Ukraine support community. Juzzy does good work. Like his reporting is pretty extensive, pretty well researched, and keeps you up to date pretty well, while also staying a little bit lighthearted with a few jokes. Yeah, I would have to contact him to see if he is or has an interest in directly doing financial support if he's already doing that. I mean, to the best, I have no idea. Behind the scenes, maybe he is, or maybe he's not, but I actually don't have info on that. I think it's just the Patreon for supporting his channel that's present on his channel, on his videos at the end. But yeah, yeah. His updates are really great though, so I've always appreciated his work. Now then, let's go back to chat. Yeah, Cheryl says, I watched Juzzy purely for entertainment. Yeah, I get it's like half it's like half legitimate news updates and half entertainment. Yeah. But again, he's a nice guy, and if I ever hear anything different, then I'll do my homework on it. But I've never heard anyone mention anything controversial about him. I mean, he just seems like a guy who wants to get information out about what's happening in Ukraine. All right, let's see. All right, so there's Think Ukraine. And now let me get Juzzy. That being said, if I could get in touch with Juzzy, which... Does he have an email? Maybe I will email him if he does. No, I don't see one. If I could get in touch with Juzzy and if he were interested, I would love to interview him on a stream or something. Because I don't think I've ever seen Juzzy directly on a stream. And I'd be very interested to talk with him. All right, and there's a link to Juzzy's video. So let me pull it up right now. All right.
Day 827.
Oh, hold on a sec. I see it available, but I'm not hearing. Hold on.
Of the Ukrainian war map, also known as the Russo.
I gotta fix something, one sec. Yeah, Juzzy is kind of like reporting from Ukraine. He does good work, but he never does live streams or interviews. So it's very hard to know much about a person when you don't have a chance to talk directly to them, or when they don't do a lot of discussions about other channels and their personal beliefs and stuff in their videos. So yeah, I mean, the amount of knowledge I would have is about the same as what you would have, if I'm being honest. without doing a ton more research. Okay, for some reason, the audio on this is not coming through for me, which is weird. Tell me if you guys hear any audio. Yeah, feel free to tell me in chat.
Ukrainian war. Juzzy here, and today is another update as I take a simplified and down-to-earth approach to some of the most important happenings on the ground in Ukraine. So starting off, we'll take a look at the Russian losses, as currently Russia sits on more than 507,000 military personnel losses, representing an additional above average 1,390 in the past day. Then as for hardware losses, 18 tanks, 22 AP.
Okay, I don't know why the audio is only working for you guys and not for me, but what I'm going to do to fix that is put the subtitles on so I can hear it as well. All right, so we're just going to watch a little bit of Juzzy, probably the beginning, and then a little bit of the end, and then we're going to finish up the stream, guys.
TVs and 39 artillery. And with so much happening in the last day, we'll head across to the map now into a little known area of the Kerch Strait on the edge of the Russian Krasnodar region, as overnight strikes by Ukrainian Neptune missiles hit the ferry crossing and the oil terminal of the port of Kavkaz, which of course is somewhat unprecedented for a Ukrainian-developed missile to extend so far into Russian territory with such an impact. Because the last known notable use of the Ukrainian missile, the Neptune missile, was from the sinking of the Russian Muscovia, the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet, back around the commencement of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which is, in fact, still indicated as an icon on this very map. And so for this latest news, it's not always so for the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense to come out and state so unequivocally that A, they caused the incident, and B, this was the type of weapon they used, whether it be an ATACMS, Neptune missile now, or anything else. So this port's infrastructure is, or was, crucial for Russia's logistics and army supply lines. And according to a Russian Telegram channel, the fire erupted in a fuel depot housing 3 petroleum tanks that supplied gas to Russian forces in the occupied Kherson and Zaporizhia oblasts. And yet all of this comes as just yesterday, Ukrainian Magura V5 naval drones destroyed and damaged a Russian patrol boat or boats in occupied Crimea. And on top of that, as we already know, US-provided ATACMS missiles hit the Russian Kerch ferry crossing and 2 ferries, which sustained substantial damage. Also, for a brief mention in the mix here, those Magura V5s targeted and destroyed 2 Russian KS-701 boats, which are high-speed amphibious transports, which were struck in the Vuzka Bay. These vessels are typically used for logistics and patrol by Russian forces, but also known to be named Putin's boats or oligarch boats, as these are the type that they are usually seen traveling on. And despite the chaotic fire from small arms and 30mm cannons, these Ukrainian naval drones successfully completed their mission. But it doesn't stop there, because in the early...
Alright, we'll listen to one more thing here at the beginning, but I just want to say regarding the strikes over there in Crimea, over there near the Kerch area, and the successes of the Ukrainian Navy with their drone program, their naval drone program against the Russian Black Sea Fleet, Slava Ukraini and Slava ZSU. Alright, let's continue.
Hours of the morning, a dramatic drone attack targeted a Russian oil depot and seaport in Taman, not far away from Kazkam, situated near the Kerch Bridge, but on the Russian side as well. The attack reportedly caused significant damage to the infrastructure critical for the region's energy and logistical operations. So in all, these series of incidents underscores the intensifying nature of the conflict and the strategic importance of disrupting supply lines and key assets. Then also, not too far away, there was also a series of loud explosions heard overnight in Novorossiysk, likely due to air defenses from more UAV drone raids onto what is probably now largely considered the new.
I want to pause it right quick, just to highlight something real fast. Guys, I want to remind everyone this whole area, Crimea, the Kerch Bridge, this part of Russia across from Crimea, all of this area is just to the south of it, the southeast, is the area of Abkhazia, Republic of Georgia. You can see it down there in the lower right, highlighted in red. My friend, that is my friend's country. It is all of that in red is occupied by Russia. De facto occupied, the same way that LPR and DPR are occupied. Separatist forces who claim to be an independent country, but only Russia and like 2 other countries in the world, I think one is North Korea, I think another one is a small island nation, actually recognize it. There might be a handful more, but you get my point. The only major country recognizing it is Russia. And it's occupied by Russian troops. So I want to bring attention to the fact that if things get bad enough for the Russians in Crimea, if they're really on the back foot at any point, heck, even if they aren't on the back foot, but especially if they end up on the back foot, they're already building naval forts, naval facilities, military naval facilities in Abkhazia. So they already occupy 20% of that country. The political situation is not looking good. And it would be very easy for them to make a flimsy pretext to invade and then install more naval facilities all across Georgia if Vladimir Putin and his goons decided that they wanted to go that route. So, yeah, this war could quickly expand to the Caucasus, and then the Caucasus could end up becoming a region that's forced into becoming a site of Russian naval bases and production facilities. So when I bring up Republic of Georgia, it's not just because, I want to help my friends who live. I mean, I do want to help my friends who live there, but it's not just because it's an isolated situation. It is very directly linked to the Black Sea and to Crimea. So I just wanted to make that statement right quick.
Headquarters of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, as the former closer proximity of the original Russian naval HQ in Sevastopol just being far too close to Ukraine, thus being much too risky to remain positioned at. Then moving along on the map, and as far as the Russian map is concerned, far, far away in Siberia, and I really have to stretch out and see if I can find this one. As in a dramatic turn of events, reports from Russian media have surfaced indicating that one of the buildings in President Vladimir Putin's residence in Altai has been almost completely destroyed by a fire. Now, this incident has sparked intense speculation and curiosity, especially due to rumors suggesting that a bunker, potentially serving as a secure hideaway for Putin, lies beneath this very residence. And just looking at it, you might think that this place isn't much of a palace, but it's probably very nice in comparison to almost any other place in Siberia. And I and others would probably speculate that it was potentially one of Putin's contingency plans for a safe haven in the event that things got really out of hand. One less contingency for Putin. Now, as for how this fire occurred, well, at a distance of 3,000 kilometers, or as the crow flies, about 1,800 miles, it certainly wasn't as a direct result of Ukrainian fire, but instead was possibly more work from partisan activity who were able to gain access to the far less secure location. Then moving back to the main map to the...
All right, let's go ahead and move forward. And I'll let you guys check out the video to get all the rest of the news in the middle. We're just going to get the ending bit of news that Juzzy has for us right quick. We'll start it from about here.
Ukraine's internationally recognized borders to their status before the invasion. Then headed across to a quick funny to round it all off today, guys. So with this one, as Putin was recently at one of his publicly aired foreign affairs or security council meetings, telling everybody that they must work as if they are on the front lines, which means he's talking about a fully mobilized war economy without actually mandating it as so, which would otherwise be an extremely unpopular political decree and series of legislative actions. So he goes on to say that everyone must feel as if they're mobilized. But the real kicker here is his use of language on how he tries to rope everybody else into his very own choice of single-handedly involving his entire country in his botched invasion of Ukraine. As he states, quote, "Only this way will we achieve the goals we have set out for ourselves." Oh, please. Yep, some real 1944 vibes going on right there, folks. So thanks again for watching, guys, and once again, I always do appreciate the likes, the comments, and the subscribing of the YouTube channel. Anything else is a bonus, which actually really helps this channel going, so I appreciate all of that support there as well, and I do hope to see all of you guys there in the next one.
Hold on, I just want to read this. We are not losing troops. Starts using reserves. We're not losing troops. Hires foreign mercenaries. We are not losing troops. Urges Belarus to join the fight. We are not losing troops. Recruits convicts. Promises pardons in exchange for service. Yep, that is how you put on clown makeup. Only thing that would have been better is if they managed to superimpose Putin's face. Alright, so that is Juzzy's video. He does have a buy me a coffee. Go check out his channel. He does good work. And with that, let's see. We're at about an hour and a half. Wow, yeah, we're a little further, little bit more than I expected today. Let me close this. But we made really good progress. We are at 40,911.35 hryvnia now. So we jumped up quite a bit. Let me convert that. We are at $1,009.54 US. And again, this is a very big fundraiser. 110 drones. You know, when we first started, I think it was at about 2,200,000. We're at 1,785,000 left. But that helps a lot and takes a chunk out of it. And we're going to keep going. We're going to get these drones where they need to go. And yeah, also, we're going to do additional fundraisers. They might be small ones of like $300 or something, like for a few medical supplies for Helena. Might do that one of these weeks. Or we might do something like we did today, where we do a poll. I think we're gonna do some more of those polls where I'll make a donation and you guys pick, and then I invite you guys to come join me in donating for whichever one wins. And of course, if you want to donate to the other ones, you can always go donate to those. I just want people to be aware of all these different funds they can donate to. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. Gonna try to put more videos and shorts out. We are in need of some moderators for both YouTube and for the Discord. So if anyone listening has an interest in that, feel free to message me on Discord. Come join our Discord. You can find a link to it on the channel or in the chat. It should be posted automatically every couple of minutes by Nightbot. And yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for standing with Ukraine. We will be back again next week in about, I think we're on in 2 hours today. I think in about 2 hours, let me double check that. The shield should be going on, and I'll be joining. Yep, in 2 hours. So come join us on the shills. And Starsky may be there. putting that into the chat. And all right. So be sure to check out that link, everyone. It'll take you straight to our video in 2 hours today. And yeah, appreciate you all being here. Appreciate you standing with Ukraine. Let's keep moving forward. This war is not close to being done yet. And we will stand with Ukraine, and Ukraine will be victorious. Thank you, everyone. Slava Ukraini. Oh, wait. I don't want to be that guy who forgot about questions. Let me see. Nope, no more questions. All right. Slava Ukraini. Have a great day, everybody.